Hello. Today we're going to be reading chapter 9 of Charlene, Darling, A Very Slow Turtle by Beck. And look, I vacuumed my rug. Chapter 9 is The Council of Turtles. And that's where Charlene, Darling, and Tor have been making their way to this whole time. It starts out with a picture of Ralph Michael, the head of the Council of Turtles. Boy, looks like he's got a lot on his mind, huh? Poor guy. And the recap, Charlene, Darling, and Tor have had quite a journey. They passed through places like Cool Cat Cove, Suey Sound, Monkey Island, Mule Mile, Horse Horn, Goat Gap, and they are now in Hyena Hole. Okay. Chapter 9. We're going to divide this chapter into two parts because it's a little long. The bright morning sun was welcomed by Tor and Charlene, Darling as it warmed their shells. But it was a curse to the tortured hyenas. "Oh, my head," one said. "I'm going to be sick," said another. "Who turned on the sun? It's killing me," complained Hairy Hyena. Tor stated, "I don't think the hyenas will be in a mood for a chase today." Then he murmured to Charlene, Darling, "This is what they call a hangover, darling." "Thank you for not letting me taste the tequila," Charlene, Darling gratefully said. Charlene fixed her hair and her face and mildly scolded Tor for flattening the tip of her lipstick. The two left the suffering hyenas to themselves, though Charlene felt sorry that her fellow animals were in such obvious misery. She was deeply gratified the pack rats escaped safely. "Our next stop is the Capitol and a soda pop," said Tor. "My treat." "You're on," Charlene, Darling agreed. Then a frown came across her face. "I'm so nervous, Tor." "They are turtles, darling," Tor said with emphasis. "Just like you and me, only wiser. They are here to help you, not judge you." "Thanks, Tor," Charlene sighed in relief. Along the way, Tor did his best to curtail Charlene, Darling's anxiety about appearing before the Council of Turtles. Charlene got the feeling Tor had first-hand information on the council. When asked how he knew so much, Tor simply answered, "They're my peeps." Around noon, Tor and Charlene approached the hustle and bustle of Capital City, where a myriad of animals and cultures were presented as a mosaic work of art in Charlene, Darling's mind. She froze and took in a deep breath, as if her lungs alone could process all that was going on around her. "Exhale, darling," Tor whispered in Charlene's ear. "I'm going to be picking you up off the ground." "Just thinking," Charlene, Darling uttered as an excuse. "You'll be fine," Tor reassured as he held Charlene, Darling's hand in both of his. "You're in good hands." Charlene pressed her lips together in a smile and nodded. Tor led the way through markets of produce, textiles, wood, metal, and glass, through restaurants and assorted eateries, through vendors and tradesmen, and those exhibiting their crafts and wares. Finally, on the square was a huge white concrete building known as the Capitol. A massive pine tree was receiving its Christmas decor on the outside of the building. Inside awaited Charlene, Darling's destination, the Council of Turtles. "Let's go, darling," Tor said to urge Charlene across the street. "I can't," Charlene replied in effort to stall. "No, I mean go so we don't end up roadkill," Tor explained, as he pulled Charlene forward to avoid the string of oncoming traffic. When Charlene reached the other side, she shook so hard her tin of bobby pins came open. Bobby pins fell through the leg holes in her shell and scattered on the sidewalk beneath her feet. "That has never happened before," Charlene said as she embarrassedly leaned over to pick up each pin. "I come equipped," Tor proudly announced as he produced a rather large rectangular magnet from his shell. Then he added, "You can never tell what's in a turtle shell." Tor collected the pins in no time as he ran the magnet over the scattered mess. "You carry a magnet?" questioned a curious Charlene. "Attribute it to my magnetic personality," answered Tor. "I'll more likely attribute it to your personality disorder," Charlene said with a smile. "There's that dark side again, darling," Tor said as he playfully shook a finger at Charlene. "Thanks, Tor. I'm glad you carry a magnet," Charlene confessed, "no matter what the reason." Tor handed Charlene's bobby pins to her as she opened her cough drop tin. Then he suggested, "You get yourself all calm and collected while I grab us some pop. What'll you have, ma'am?" "Sprite, I think. Trying to limit my caffeine intake," answered Charlene darling. "I'm feeling Dr. Pepperish myself," said Tor. He dashed to the pop machine as Charlene darling took a seat on a nearby bench. Charlene enjoyed the variety of her surroundings, but the fast pace scared her somewhat. Tor returned promptly with the sodas. The two popped their tops and drank eagerly. "I'd like to show you around after your meeting, darling," Tor said. "How much more is there?" Charlene asked between gulps. "This is only the beginning," said an enthusiastic Tor. When the clock in the bell tower struck 1, Tor rose to his feet. "The council is back from lunch. Better be on our way," Tor said matter-of-factly. "Already?" Charlene asked and slightly stalled. "Okay, then." She readied herself. Tor finished his Dr. Pepper, crushed the can in his hand, and dropped it in the recycle bin on the way through the door. Charlene carried her Sprite with her. Tor took a right, then a left, and then another left down a hallmarked T. They passed doors labeled tigers, then toads, and a third labeled turkeys. When they reached one marked turtles, Tor opened it and said, "Entree, mademoiselle." Charlene entered the waiting room and was surprised to see it empty. "You're first in line. Won't be long and they'll call you in," Tor spoke with confidence. Charlene realized how dry her mouth felt, so she tipped the Sprite up and guzzled it. "So down the hatch," Tor spoke for her. An elderly gentleman turtle opened a green door and softly said, "Next, please." Tor took the empty can from Charlene's hand and said, "That's you, darling." He walked her to the doorway while saying, "State your case. You'll be just fine. I'll be here waiting for you." The slow, elderly turtle walked Charlene around a black curtain, so she was facing 4 turtles she presumed to be the council. Then the elderly gentleman turtle disappeared. "Be seated," the eldest turtle, standing behind a heavy wooden table, instructed as he pounded his gavel on the tabletop. Charlene darling looked for a chair. "Us, not you." The eldest turtle spoke again. "State your case." Charlene recalled those were the exact words Tor used. Charlene opened her mouth to speak, but out burst a long, echoing belch instead. The freckled turtle on the right end, whose nameplate read Ralph Mouth, vigorously chewed his gum and declared, The turtle has gas. She should take some Rolaids. The second turtle from the right, whose nameplate read Ralph Lauren, advised, the turtle has gas. Dress to downplay the bloating and squeeze the turtle. The third turtle from the right, whose nameplate read Wreck-It Ralph, counseled, poke her with a pen, and produced a long needle from his shell. No! Charlene Darling managed to yell. I am not gassy. But a second burp immediately followed. I beg to differ, argued the eldest turtle, whose nameplate read Ralph Michael. Gas is not my problem. My problem is I move slowly, Charlene started to explain. The council members looked at each other. Then Ralph Mouse spoke. The turtle has dementia. She needs to be hospitalized. Ralph Lauren spoke next, noticing Charlene's ankle bracelet and hair ribbon. The turtle knows how to accessorize. She's merely confused. Consult a psychiatrist. Wreck-It Ralph simply said, shock therapy. No, interrupted a panicked Charlene. Let me start from the beginning. And Charlene Darling recapped her life before and during her last day at Speedy Burger. She expressed how agonized she was to be such a slow turtle, late for everything, and how it cost her her job. The council listened intently, except for Ralph Michael, who seemed to doze off at one point and push his glasses to the top of his head. When Charlene Darling had finished her story, Ralph Mouth spoke again. The turtle is extremely slow. She should surround herself with slow friends, slow co-workers. Ralph Michael seemed to wake up suddenly and shriek out of turn, Move to Missouri! Then he said a solemn, Oh, sorry, continue. Ralph Mouth did continue. The turtle needs to find a place to fit in. Ralph Lauren spoke next. The turtle needs practice, practice, practice. Practice makes perfect. Take lessons from the snapping turtle. Go after what you want quickly and don't let go. Charlene Darling's eyes cast an inquisitive but fearful look on Wreck-It Ralph as he hit both fists on the table and advised, Smash all you've come to hold is true. Wipe the slate clean. Build from the ground up. Set new priorities and design your life around them. The last turtle to speak was Ralph Michael, who paused before saying, Take a vacation. Take in some new experiences and new ideas. Take time to dream. Answers sometimes reveal themselves to us when we are relaxed and open to creativity. Ralph Michael then pounded his gavel and said, Case dismissed. The turtles all rose. You may now sit, young lady, on the steps in front of you and reflect, Ralph Michael said, before the turtles made their exit through a red door on Charlene's left. Charlene Darling watched Ralph Mouth close the door behind him. Slowly, she sat down on the steps leading to the council's table, feeling no better off than she did before. The council's advice left her silent and confused. The silence was broken when the red door creaked open and softly shut. We're going to stop there. Who do you think came through the door? We'll find out next time. Part 2 of Chapter 9. Thank you.